Today I'm showing you guys exactly how to create those premium UI looking animations and camera movements that are taking over the animation industry right now. This 1 hour After Effects guide will transform your animation and UI skills forever. I've split this masterclass into 2 powerful animations. The first animation is gonna be 3D advanced smooth animations on these UI designs to see how we can make our scene look very nice and silky. And then the second animation, we're gonna focus more on shape morphing, bounce expressions, and transforming from one UI design to another UI design to see whether you've been editing on After Effects for 3 months or 3 years. This video, you're gonna completely learn how to edit like the viral style of Sutox originals and be able to recreate what others can and ride the wave. All the assets that you need to follow me will be found in the second link in description. So with that being said, let's dive in. Oh, and by the way, I know I just did a buzz cut, but I had to do it for change. Over here I have the UI and everything ready. You'll find it in the project files. All you need to do is open up the project file and continue on with me. I will even do a little breakdown on how I organize the UI, just so you guys have an idea. Now the first thing you want to do is open up the composition of After Effects Animation 2 Comp. And you can see we already have a white layer, and it's not completely white. If I just pick and pan into this, it's like kind of grayish. All right, this is just the vibe that we're going for. Now what we want to do from here is we want to go ahead and we want to animate a couple of things before we get into the camera part. So you want to take this laptop part UI, and all you want to do is pretty much just bring it on over here, and you're gonna see we have it look like this. And what we want to do, we want to scale it down, and boom, we have our beautiful laptop in this kind of structure. Okay, over here I think what I'll do is I'll rasterize the layer. Okay, I will do fit, and let's say I want to have it this much. I'm gonna actually have it scaled down this much, and from here is where we want to start our animation. Okay, now first thing we want to do is we want to bring up our camera tool. So bring this on. You can have these exact settings, 1 node, 2 node, doesn't matter. I think we want to go for 2 node in this one, but yeah, I'll just have it like at 2 node. Okay, and I will have these settings and press OK. Now that you press OK, you can see whatever movement we do with our camera, nothing is gonna happen. That's because no layer is turned on with 3D. So you want to go ahead and you want to make this 3D, and the background, no need. And you can see if I move anything, it's perfect. It's like we're camera panning through this whole thing, wherever I move, however I move. And if I zoom in also, it's cool, you know, because it's a very big scale. Our laptop is at a very good scale and it's very big. Okay, so the animation is going to be something like we're going to zoom out of our laptop. Okay, and then we're going to pan above. So you want to select this. Okay, right click, go into camera, and then go into create orbit null. This will make us a null where we can pretty much control our camera however we want. You can see this is our camera control. If I do position, we can go right. If I do left, like everything works properly. Okay, it's perfect. And what I will do on top of it is I will connect it with 2 more nulls just for the sake of it. Okay, I will connect it with 2 more nulls. That's the way you can do that, is click new and then go into null object and make your null object 3D and connect it. Another way that I do it with a quick shortcut is this is a free tool, Motion Tools Panel 4. Okay, it's a free tool, you can download it. I can just click here literally and it will create a null. Now I will click here and it will create another null, and it automatically parents the null. Okay, so you can do it manually, it doesn't matter, you don't need this tool to do it, but this is just like how I do it very quickly. Now we have 3 total nulls, one of them being the orbit null, and the other nulls are the connected nulls. Okay, we want to start with our orbit null, and this is where our initial position is going to start from. So what I will do is I will take my camera and I will zoom it in almost to the point where it feels like we are, or there isn't even a MacBook, or like we are panned onto the screen. Okay, at this point, maybe a little bit more zoomed out, but I just don't want to zoom out the screen itself, so I want it to be this way. That's cool. So you can see this is how we're starting, and I have this thing on as well, which is called title action save. It can help us like just align how we want the YouTube to look. and I will start like at a full scale on YouTube. Okay, and by the way, we're gonna do the animations and everything for the UI itself. Don't worry about that. So actually, yeah, let's get into it right now. First thing you want to go is double click on this laptop part UI. Okay, and once you go inside, you're gonna see all of these layers. It's a lot of layers. I know it's overwhelming. Don't stress it. Okay, first things first, we have our MacBook layer, which is pretty much group number 1. This last layer is our MacBook layer. Here is where the placeholder for the MacBook is. And then we have our YouTube layer. We have 3 shape layers which are being used as decoys. So what these 3 shape layers are doing is they're hiding the YouTube, because this is a screenshot from my laptop. Like literally it's a screenshot from my laptop, and I just wanted to hide that. And then I masked out every single button, okay, so that all of it is like customizable in a way. And like you don't need to remake this, you can just mask it out, and you can see everything is renamed. And I even masked out each one of these, and you can see it's in sequence, okay, from video 2 to video 9. I don't know why it started with video 2, maybe I forgot video 1. And then we have the banner, okay. So we don't want to overcomplicate things. It's going to be very, very simple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start from above to below. That means the banner is the first thing that's going to get animated. Simply, I'm just going to click on the banner, okay, click on position and do Shift T so that you can have the opacity. And I will go pretty much 1 second and click on keyframes over here as well. Go back, make this start from here and just do an opacity from 0. So you can see this is how it's going to pop up. This is how pretty much it's going to pop up. And we just want to do F9 and graph it. Okay, so this is how our banner is going to come. Maybe the position is going to be a bit lesser from a bit less far, but yeah, that's cool. And then we are gonna start from here. All of this I will take it above the videos just so we have it in a sequential manner, and I'll change its color so we can identify. First things first, you want to select all of this and you want to do Control Alt Home so that the key the anchor point goes in the middle for all of them, okay, including UAR7. I just brought UAR7. And you want to click on P, okay, you want to click on T, position and opacity. Very simply, take it around 20 frames, make it come from down, and opacity 0, and then do the same graph that I just said, which is going to be the front graph. So this is how it's all going to come up. Now the most important thing is the sequential order. Alright, so we're going to do the sequential order just once we animate everything. The same thing goes for all of these, guys. All of these, what I'm going to do is I will do position, opacity, go ahead, keyframe them again, come back, bring them from down, okay, but the catch here is going to be a bit different, and do opacity from 0, and then F9 and do this exact same graph. So now you can see all of these are coming up. Now what's important is all of it should be sequential, okay. That means that first thing the banner is going to come, and then 1, 2, 3 the UAR7 is going to come, and the profile picture at the same time, and then 1, 2, 3 maybe the subscriber count, and then 1, 2 frames. I'm just like doing it, you know, randomly. 1, 2, I'm gonna do the social, and then 1, 2 the subscribe. So see the top part, how it's all pretty much like in a manner where it's coming up one by one. That's what we want to do with our videos as well. So with the videos, start with video 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, bring it here, 1, 2, bring it here. There's a shortcut that if you click on this left squared bracket, it will just bring it, okay. So that's the shortcut that I do, and I just do page down. So now you can see the videos are also coming. Now the thing that I don't like about the way the videos come is they're coming out of the screen. So what I will do is I will just pre-compose this, okay, and I will create a border over here just so it doesn't go past this border. So see how it's gonna feel like it's coming out of the screen in itself. It looks pretty cool. Now if we look at this from outside, it looks amazing. I like it. Now if we go to the layer that's behind it, okay, which is the main composition, okay, we're gonna see that everything is gonna start getting customized from here. Take a look at this. See how it is? Perfect. You can see that we are pretty much zoomed in. Now what we want to do is we want to start with the camera stuff. Now I already told you guys that we can create 3 null layers. We have the camera. How do we start animating our camera? Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the keyframe position on our camera. And let's say I will go around 2.5 seconds. Now I'll zoom it out all the way like this, literally. Okay, so this is how it's gonna go. You can see we're pretty much just gonna zoom out of our MacBook, and then I'm gonna take the second null. Okay, by the way, you never want to do all of your animations in one null. That is a mistake. This is why we have multiple nulls, you understand? Okay, by the way, I'm gonna extend the duration by a little bit. I'm gonna make it 15 seconds, so 1500 is gonna be 15 seconds, and just extend all of this out in this manner. Okay, so this is how our zoom out is gonna be. Okay, before we start graphing things up, we wanna like make the initial animation, and then our second null will be responsible for taking us pretty much, let's say in 2 seconds or 2.5 seconds above over here. So what I wanna do is I wanna pan out and then pan in above, but let's zoom this out a little bit more, enough. Okay. Now over here we have the position, and I want to do one of the rotations. I don't know which one, but don't worry about it. Okay, so we want to pan back in, we want to go above, and we're gonna do a little bit of a X rotation. But this X rotation, we cannot do it from our current null. We have to do it from the top null, because I'll tell you what the problem is. If I do X rotation, you can see it's not rotating properly. But if I go ahead and I go to the null above and I do it, it's happening properly. So the rotation is gonna be on the layer that's above. Okay, we just did the position over here, is we zoom out and then we pan in within a matter of 2 seconds or something. We pan in a little bit more, actually a lot more, and we're gonna go like over almost like this, and then the X rotation is gonna rotate so it looks like our laptop opened up a little bit like this. You can see it almost feels like our laptop opened up a little bit, but in fact it didn't. So this is how it is. We're gonna zoom out and then it's gonna zoom in with a rotation like this. The rotation can be a little bit more actually. Okay, now what we need to do is click on all of them and just graph it. F9. Okay, go to the first one. The graph that I'm gonna use for the first one might be this one. I'm not sure. I think this might be too fast. Yeah, we're gonna do the middle graph. That means that I'm gonna graph this 75 or 72 or whatever, and this also. And I can maybe extend this out a little bit. By the way, over here we wanna do a concept called keyframe overlapping. That means the keyframes, another reason why we use multiple nulls is that the keyframes can overlap on each other. That means the second animation can start before the first one even finishes. So look at this. We're gonna zoom out in this manner, and then the second animation starts. For the second animation, the graph that we're gonna use is also the middle graph. So select both of the graphs and just make this 75, 75. Now one thing I like about these tools is that, you know, if I select this and I just do this, I think it automatically does the middle graph for me, you can see. So this is why I like motion tools for, and I think all of you should get it. Now look at this. We're gonna have this zoom out and then boom, zoom in over here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the X rotation happen a bit faster, so it actually looks like the laptop is opening up, and maybe a bit harsher too. No, not harsher. And I'm gonna extend out the X rotation a little bit more. Cool, that looks good. So now we start this, and then the X rotation starts, and then we go up over here. Okay, and over here I think I'm gonna add like a text that pretty much says smooth. I mean, don't worry about the text. All you need to do, click on the text tool, okay, and write up whatever you want to. So I'm gonna write smooth camera UI animation. All right, and I will change the color, make this black. The font is gonna be, you can use SF Pro, that doesn't matter, and I will make it like bold, okay, and I'll place it in the center over here, scale it up a little bit. Now see what's gonna happen. All right, there's something that's gonna happen that is interesting, is when we do 3D on this just goes away. It just disappeared. So that's because it always takes it to the center of the composition, not the center of the camera. You understand? That means if I turn off the camera, we can see that it's made in the center of the composition. That's just how text works, okay, when you do 3D. So what I want to do is I want to just do position and bring this up in this manner, okay. Scale it down so that at this point we know it's gonna be here, and over here you can see that it's going a little bit in that way. I'm not sure why that is happening, but it's fine. So for that, very simple, if you just click on position and you take this a little bit above, it's not gonna happen, but weirdly it is happening still. Okay, it looks like there's an issue with the font, bit of a weird issue, like it's just a bug from After Effects. So I'm gonna use another font, which you don't need to change, you can just keep staying on the same font. I'm gonna use this font. Yeah, that fixes it. So this is a similar font to what we have. It's called New Has. Now I'll just make it bold, a bit bolder. Okay, now we look cool. Now you can see that when we do this, when we zoom out, the text is gonna stay over there, and it's like a camera panning everywhere. Okay, that's exactly what we need. So smooth camera UI animation. Now let's see how we can make this look a bit more interesting. So I just imported a random image of a camera just to make things more interesting. And what I'm gonna do is copy and paste the position so that it comes up in the exact same place. And what I'll do over here is I'll just make a little bit of a gap so we can fit this, a smooth camera in this manner. So that just makes things a bit interesting, you see. And I can decrease the spacing a little bit now, and it looks good. Smooth camera UI animation. And what I can do, another thing to make it even more interesting, is I will turn off the camera for a second, okay, and I'll make a shape layer which will be red, and I will place it in the center of this little camera that we have, just like this. And the reason for that is just to make things a bit more interesting, so it looks like it's a record button or whatever. Okay, I will just make this 3D, and now if I turn on the camera, we should be cool. It should come up in the exact same place. Okay, the only thing is that didn't happen because there is a Y position. So I can just paste this as well and then bring it on like this. Take the second one. Cool. That looks good. So that was just like a interesting UI element that we brought in. Nothing much. I will make this medium, by the way, because I feel like it was too bold. That means that we're gonna have to adjust this a little bit. That's cool. That's cool. And what I will do is I will animate the text for this. So for the text animation, there is a very simple way to do it. Go here, click on animate, click on position, and then click on add, click on opacity, go advanced, make it words, do ramp up, okay? It's gonna ramp up from here, and the opacity is gonna start from 0. And now all we need to do is offset from -100 to 100, and then I will go into ease low and make this 100, and then I'm just gonna extend this out a little bit. And then once this comes this way, I'm gonna link these shape layers to the camera, and I will do a little bit of a bounce effect. So I'll make it come from 0 to 12, and the bounce expression, you guys already know it, so I'm just gonna paste it from here, and boom, this is how it's gonna come. I love it. I'll decrease the amplitude to 30. Now for the last part, what we need to do is we need to take it to our second scene, okay? And the way that we're gonna do that is we're gonna zoom through this. So you guys can see how there is a little zoom. We're gonna pause here for a second, and then it's gonna just zoom through this, like boom. And the way we can do that is we can take our first null, okay? Just click P on our first null, click U on our third null, just so I can see where the position is, okay? I will click P over here, and let's say I will go like 2 seconds ahead, almost this much, and I will zoom in. And I will zoom in a way where I'm kind of zooming in through this, okay? So I'll zoom in, maybe like this. I don't know how harsh that's gonna look, but I think it's fine. So almost like this, almost like I'm going, I'm trying to go between these two layers in this manner, and then obviously this shape layer is gonna go out, okay? That means I'm gonna like animate it out. And the way that I'm gonna do that is literally just copy and paste and reverse keyframe, okay? And just gonna reverse keyframe like over here. No, that's not gonna work. Okay, I'm gonna do it simply. That means I'm gonna do a scale and just make it go to 0. This is gonna have like a graph out in this way. So this is how it's gonna go out, you guys can see. And the zoom in that we're gonna have is gonna be something that's gonna be like the middle graph. So we want to take this, extend it out. So for these two keyframes now, what I will do is I will pretty much just try to overlap as much as I can. Okay, you can see almost this much. Okay, I will do F9 on it. And the graph that we're gonna do is harsh towards the ending in this way. And I'll tell you guys why we're doing that. So you can see, we're gonna zoom out. We're gonna zoom in over here. And then, boom. Like it almost goes out through this. But this is too sharp, so we want to definitely chill that. That means I will make this 80. Okay, not as much as I had it, just like this. So it's almost like we're going through this smoothly. All right, so you guys can see this is what we have until now, and then we go into this, and then we just zoom out through this. Now once we zoom in through this, our second scene is gonna come. Okay, at this point of time, what I want to do is I want to make sure the camera is fully gone. So that means that the scale is going to go out much earlier. I don't want it to be interruptive. And then cut. And over here, the background color, okay, is going to change. I'm going to click on fill, remove the fill, pin this. I will tell you guys why we're doing this. That means that we're just filling it the same color. But I will keyframe this now, okay, and by this part, it's gonna become fully black. So you guys can see in this way, and I'm gonna have like a middle graph for it. So F9, boom, or not even middle graph, just front graph, and extend this out like this much. No, that's too slow. So once we go into this scene, here is where we want our Twitter UI to come up. So this is our Twitter UI, and the Twitter part is gonna be very simple. I know there's a lot of layers. Okay, all we need to do is just copy and paste everything on over here, and then the Twitter is gonna pop up just once it goes fully black in this way, or almost fully black. Like the black transition should be very quick, just so we can pop up the Twitter, because you guys can see the way the UI is made is not all layers. That means if I pop up the Twitter any earlier than it becomes black, people can see. Okay, that's why we need to do it only at the very end. Okay, over here I will just cut all of the layers that we have. Okay, I'll just do a cut on all of the layers. That means that now we are on a pretty much new start. And what we'll do at this point of time is we're gonna introduce a new camera. I will just pre-compose all of this, and I'm gonna introduce a new camera, and this new camera is gonna be the exact same way, you know, 2-node, and then go in over here, camera, orbit null, and then connect 2 more nulls to it. The animation, just so it feels continuous, it's gonna start from outside, okay, and it's gonna be almost 2 seconds. It's gonna start from outside like this, but everything should be 3D, by the way. You have to select all of this and make every single thing 3D. Now we're gonna make this come from outside in this way, as you guys can see, and I'm gonna do F9, and I'll make it come up very fast so it feels continuous. See how it's gonna be like this and then this, but not everything can like just pop up randomly, obviously, so there has to be an animation or the way it comes up, and it's gotta be fast. That's why we have this into UI layers, right? So I'll select this, okay, now I'll select this, now I'll select this, and I will select this, tweet reply. All of these I'm gonna click P and T on it, position and opacity. I'll go 20 frames ahead, come up back, make it start from 0, and make it come from down, just like this. And then just do an F9 graph and make this very sharp towards the starting. And I'm gonna make everything in a sequence, so you can see. Now that makes a bit of sense, right? The only thing that I forgot to animate is this, just this crazy animation, whatever. That means that I will just sync it to the PFP, and I will take the opacity and paste it. And what I will do is I'll add a typewriter effect to it, because it's a custom layer. So typewriter, that means that we can have it typing, and I'll make the typewriter much faster. Boom. You guys can see how we did this like continuous camera. There is a bit of a bug in the very beginning, you can see over here. That means that at this point we're just gonna start these layers a bit more delayed. I'll just bring them forward like this. Now this looks better, And pretty much while it's zooming in, what I will do is I will start taking our camera downwards. Okay, and this is gonna be like our probably last camera movement. So it comes up like this, our UI, and then I'm gonna take the camera that is above. By the way, I think this should be a bit more zoomed in. I feel like it's too zoomed out, so I will just select all of this and pretty much, yeah, that's better. Now it's like much more zoomed in. Now, meanwhile it's going, I will start our second animation. So click P over here, and this one I'm gonna make it like 2.5 seconds. It doesn't have to be exact, it can just be random, and boom, we'll just go down like this. Okay, and the graph that I'm gonna have for these is like this, a little bit fast to the front, or maybe more fast to the front. So this is how it's gonna go, but then we need a little bit of a build up, so that's cool. I will make it a bit smaller and I'll extend it out. So this, you can see how this is gonna go. Boom. It needs a bit more build up though. Like it needs to build up more. That means I think we'll just do the middle graph. That's cool. That's cool. And then while this is happening, we want to animate each one of them. So you guys can see, this is literally each one of them. All right. So first things first, we're gonna have to do is just customize the opacity, or not the opacity, or just click on every single tweet, because all of them are nulled anyways, they're parented. Click on every single tweet and just make a position. All right, go like 20 frames ahead, bring it on, make it come from down in this way. F9. I'll also do opacity for these layers, but not for the text layers. Okay, so F9 and just do the front graph in this way. So you can see how these pop up. And what I will do is I will select all of these text layers, each one of them, and I'll add a typewriter effect onto them. You can see all of them are being animated, except for last one. Last one I just didn't do a UI on it because I wanted the emoji, and you cannot do that with, So I'll select the text layer now, and I'll just make the typewriter effect much shorter, because typewriter always has it like at 5 seconds for no reason. So we just want to make this much shorter. Now I'll go beginning to all of the keyframes, and I'll just make a cut. And the reason for this cut is that we can tell where things are starting from, So over here, and the difference between each one of them, I'm just gonna make it 1 frame, so it doesn't look significant. There's no like significant difference. All right, so 1, 1, 1, 1. I'm just doing page up once, literally. So you can see now all of them are sequential. Maybe we need to make it 2 actually. 1, 2, or maybe 3. Let's try. I'll try. So you guys can see how this is coming up. It's amazing. And one last thing that I want to do is I just want to extend this out a little bit, and I'll tell you guys why. I want it to be a bit slower. And then over here, I want to do a split on my camera, and I want to zoom into my camera so it feels like we did like some sort of a cut, maybe. So in this way, maybe just zoom it out a little bit and take this a little bit above, so you guys can see how like it almost looks like this is cut. For the last animation, or for the last tweet, I'll just delay it a little bit, so it feels smooth, just the way it's coming. But yeah, pretty much you guys can see this is our animation. This is what we turned up with for our camera movement. Very smooth, very cool. The camera movement, I hope you guys learned a lot from the camera movements. You can see that the camera is very easy tool to use, and in general there shouldn't be like any much difficulty when using the camera. So with that being said, let's dive into animation number 2. Now the first thing you want to do is obviously just open up After Effects and make a new composition. For the composition, I'm just gonna go for 1920 by 1080p, 30 frames. Now the first scene is gonna be 7 seconds, so we're gonna have the first scene as 7 seconds. You guys can see over here, and let's just press OK. Now this is the first scene that we can design. As you guys can see, the little preview on the screen, pretty much we have these 3 icon looking like boxes that would pull up. Now the most important thing when it comes to this whole Sutok style and everything is design, and most of the times you have to design beforehand, alright? And if you guys look at the previous videos what I did about Sutoks, which you don't need to by the way, but I'm just saying, is we use a lot of Figma. Over here I went for things that are more simpler, so we do not need to use Figma. We can make everything within After Effects, but it's much better that if you can use Figma and you can use Illustrator in general. I'm not that smooth on Illustrator, so I just use Figma, which is much easier and better for me, and Figma is faster. But in general, we're gonna make everything in After Effects for this video. I'm just stating this like as a fact, alright? Now the most important thing in this whole UI thing is I like to go for the whole Apple vibe, and you can see how on my screen right now. No wait, let's restart that because I want to remove this. Now the most important thing when it comes to the whole UI and Sutok's original style is going for the Apple vibe and maintaining everything that is Apple based, alright? So I open up Google over here to see what is the Apple white color, you know, because it's not only white, it's an Apple white. And I think we're gonna go for this one, which is more of bluish. So let's go here, open up After Effects. We're gonna go into solid, and in solid, I'm just gonna paste the color code and press OK. So you can see it's not exactly white, but it is very similar to white. Let's create our first UI element, which is going to be our box. So by the way, at this point of time, I did all of the design, but it took a little bit too long. If you guys want to find the actual version where I'm doing the design from the scratch, then you can open up Editor's Rig. Otherwise, you'll just find it in the second link in description. You'll find the ready-made design, and you can start from there instead of, you know, having to manually design out of this. But yeah, with that being said, let's get back. What I want to do in this case is start getting prepared to be able to animate. Alright, that is very important. You gotta be prepared to be animating. Alright, that means you gotta do the very small things, details first, and then get into the actual stuff. So very simply, all I'm gonna do is just click on all of my 3D layers, press R, and click on Z rotation, alright, and go to the end, and just, or not Z rotation actually, it's gonna be, for some of them it's gonna be different. So for our ball, it's gonna be Y rotation. So the Y rotation, I'm gonna have it like that, and in the end I'm gonna set it like at 30. So that's gonna make the ball constantly move. As you guys can see, it is a bit slow, so let's make it like 100. That means it's gonna do a very slow rotation, or even 130. Now for the controller, it's gonna be the Z rotation. So come up over here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start it from here, and then over here it's gonna go up until over here. So that way this is also constantly rotating. And then we have the last one, which is our car. So our car is gonna be Y rotation as well. So I'm gonna make my car start from this almost. In the end, just bring it up to be this much. So this is how much these things are gonna move. Now the only thing that's important is we wanna offset. Alright, we don't want, you know, for it to look like all of them are synced. That means I'm gonna select this, and I'm gonna make my car start from a bit past that, or a bit of a different movement, like this much. That's cool. So now it feels like the ball is first and the controller is second and the car's or whatever. So now we have this, and we are pretty much prepared to get into the actual animation part. Now we just did our design, which looks very cool and very clean. First things first that we want to do is we want to take this football match and this and our football and just place it in that manner. So all of them are, you know, on the exact same layer. I'm gonna go and label these as like blue. All right, so this is our shape layer. Shape layer goes here, and our ball is gonna be parented to our shape layer, and that is because when I'm moving the shape layer, the ball will move with it. All right, even these, they're gonna be parented to the shape layer. Perfect. That means when I move the shape layer, all of them are gonna move. That's the exact same thing we want to do with all of this. So gaming, I selected everything from gaming, and I'm gonna label this as brown. Go ahead and parent everything to the shape layer. Perfect. I'm gonna label these as orange. Go ahead and parent everything to the shape layer. That means now any shape that I move, everything moves with it. Alright, so now let's get to the animation. I'm just gonna start with the middle one, because why not? Alright, it's easier to set from the middle one, and then we can just copy paste everything to the end. So let's say I want my thing to start, you know, to come up at this part. So I'm just gonna drag all of this and place it to start from here. Okay. And so what I'm gonna do right now is, first things first, take this box layer, position, scale, and opacity. These are the three properties that we need. So you're gonna do P and then Shift S and then Shift T. Just keyframe all of this. Go 5 frames ahead, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, alright? And press on 3 keyframes again. Maybe not 5, maybe 7. And we're gonna start it from around over here. The scale is gonna start from 0 and our opacity is gonna start from 60, okay? Now, you guys can see this is how it's gonna come, which is very, very rough, looks bad. But here's where we need our bounce expression. Now, there is a way where we can do it with the smart bounce, alright? I like the smart bounce, but the thing about it is many of you guys might not have smart bounce. So what I'm gonna do is just give you guys the expression. So I'm gonna search up bounce expression in my text layer, and here we have it. This is gonna be in the description below or in the comments below. And I'm gonna go here and click copy, and you wanna click Alt on your keyboard, click on the clock and just paste it. Alright, now you can see this is how it comes up. Now I'm gonna do the exact same thing for our scale. So this is how it's coming up. Now the thing about scale, I want it to finish a bit faster, right? I think that's gonna look enough. Okay, I'm just gonna sync both of these. Alright, but it does feel a bit slow, so I'm gonna take this a bit more backward. There we go. And for the opacity, I'm gonna extend it out a little bit. This over here. I'm gonna make the opacity start from 0 actually. There we go. Now we wanna alter these settings. So to alter these settings, all you need to do is like just go into amplitude, for example. I'm gonna make the amplitude 0.1 because I don't want my scale to be that visible. You can see that looks much better. Perfect, that looks amazing. Now I wanna go into my controller and do the exact same thing we just did. All right, is go into position, take it down and take it below, like, not sure how much. Let's see. Yeah, it should just come from outside. That's the most important thing. And then the only thing is we are gonna have to add a mask to that layer, which is fine, which is easy, not a problem. So I'm gonna do the exact same thing, paste the expression. So this is how it's gonna come up basically. However, I'm gonna delay this until that literally ends and then this comes. So it's gonna look like this, you know, except that is gonna be masked. Okay, so now let me show you how it looks if it's masked. So I'm gonna do Control-Shift-C by pre-composing it. I don't know where on earth it just went. That's because I'm gonna have to unlink it, I think, and then do it. Yes. Now I can link it. All right, now I can link it, and you can see it's exactly synced. And then I'm gonna duplicate the shape layer, take it above, and use that as a matte layer. So now you can see how it only comes from outside. So that is pretty much what I wanted to do. And I can make this come up earlier a little bit. Yeah, that looks good. And maybe I'm gonna go inside. All right, go to the position and just decrease the amplitude because it's too much. The frequency, I'm gonna take it to 1.7. The amplitude to 0.3 or maybe even 0.2. Let's see if that looks cool. Yeah, that looks better, I think. The last thing that we have to animate is pretty much this world trip text. So I'm gonna go take the position, sync it exactly like how I wanted to sync it, click another position and make it start from below, not too below though, just almost here. And then literally go here and paste the expression and then delay it. So you can see how it's gonna be delayed now. However, it's coming from too low. That's cool. What I wanna do is I wanna sync the text to the gaming so that these two are synced. So now this is how it's gonna come. Perfect. There we go. So now everything feels synced. And then I'm gonna take this and literally do the same thing. Take it 5 frames, take this a little below, paste the expression, and pretty much delay it a little bit after the gaming text. So you guys can see now how it is. So now everything is solo bouncing. Alright, the great thing about this, right, is now that I did it on one layer, I can just kinda like follow the same framework and do it on all the layers. So you guys already saw how I did it on one layer. That means that you're gonna have to now sync the keyframes and everything, do it for all the layers. So what I'm gonna do is pretty much just take this and copy the exact same shit that I did from the beginning to the end. And I'm gonna be back once all of it is done. Now pretty much you guys can see I did exactly what I said I would do, and it is like I copy pasted the whole thing from the ending to the beginning for all of them, so all of them are synced. Now all we need to do is just take the, by the way, I pre-compose all of them, all right, so you can do that, and then I will make this start from 1 minute 10 seconds or 10 frames, and then I will make this start from 2 minutes and 10 frames. So everything has a difference of 1 minute and 10 frames almost. So now you guys can see this is how it looks. We have this layer come up first, and then this layer, and then this layer. So it is all synced one by one. Now one last step that we need to do is take all of this, alright, make a null object, take all of this and link it to the null object. And once that is done, what I want to do is I want to make a title action safe, and we want to start, I will take this position, I'll just place it in the end or whatever, and I want to start this from here exactly. This will allow us to tell if we are at the center or not. Okay, so we're gonna start from here, and then once both of these are centered, I'm gonna place another keyframe, and then in the end there's gonna be another keyframe. So I'll tell you why we did that is so that I can take all of this, do F9 and make all of them the middle graph. So I'll do middle graph for this, middle graph, just make all of them like 80, whatever, 75. So it's gonna look like it's in the middle. Maybe we wanna make it a bit sharper, but most important thing, it's towards the middle. So you can see now, it's kind of synced, but it's not exactly synced. That means that I'm gonna have to drag this whole thing and just, the thing is it needs to be exactly synced. So when this comes up, the movement happens. All right, so you can see the movement is happening, or we're moving to the left before that thing even pops up. That means that we're gonna have to sync it exactly from here in this manner. So you can see how now it's synced, and then when this comes up, that means I'm gonna have to take this and pull this forward. That means we're graphing the peak of the, or we're taking the peak of the graph and we're syncing it exactly to the bounces in this manner. You can see how it's synced, right? And then all we need to do is just take this a bit upward and take this a bit upward. That way there is continuous movement and it never stops. You can see, perfect. Over here, now we want to do something very important, is we want to click on P for all of this position. All right, go around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 keyframes ahead, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 6 as well, whatever, 6. So we're gonna select this and we're gonna take this upwards, all right, as you guys can see, and then over here we're gonna take it downwards, and I'm gonna select all of this, and the graph that we're gonna use over here is gonna be the middle graph as well. And I'll tell you why we're doing this. This is for the bounce out morphing animation pretty much. So you can see how it's gonna hit above. No, the ending is not gonna be a middle graph, it's gonna be this graph. Yeah, so it's gonna go up slowly and boom, it's gonna come down. And we can even drag this out a little bit so it starts up smoothly, and we just want to delay this a little bit. Boom, goes above and then comes out. Right now over here, I'm gonna press Shift T, go into opacity, and when it comes down, just make the opacity 0. So this is how it's pretty much gonna go. And now all we need to do is make it in a sequence, right? So I'm gonna select all of this and press U on my keyboard. So in this manner. Cool, you guys can see now how this goes up. For the football layer, I'm gonna delete the opacity because that's gonna be our morph layer. Now, as you guys can see, this is how it should go. The football layer should go into like this app, like how it goes to PayPal. So this is exactly what we're trying to replicate right now, okay? So what I wanna do right now is, first things first, we will have to extract some things outside, especially for this football layer, all right? Just so we can have it custom. So I'm gonna take all of this, just do a Control Shift D, all right, Control C, paste it outside. And the reason for this is because I want to be able to customize everything, and this is like a mistake, you know, let's say this is something I should have thought of a little beforehand, but it's fine, shit happens. So I'm gonna move my shape layer, you can see exactly to this. It needs to be pixel perfect, move it exactly to the scale. Now I'm gonna take the football layer that we have here and cut it. So now you can see how we just brought in the inside layer outside. All right, we did it very smoothly, so that's good. The only thing is you're gonna have to come here and just take the shape layer and link it to the null. I'm gonna remove the position of the box that we have here because I noticed that there's some sort of a weird bounce expression happening from the shape layer. So I did remove the position. I hope this is not getting complex, guys. I know this part might have made it a bit complex, but to explain it, I just took the layers that are inside and I brought it outside, and then I had to do some adjustments just so it's a smooth transition, right? Now the thing about this is when you do this, when you don't, you like this only happened because I pre-compose all the layers. When you don't pre-compose, you don't need to do this, and the pre-composing part was unnecessary, but I accidentally pre-composed because of just how organized I like to be in my timeline, you know? So the pre-composing part is what kind of messed it up, but it's no worries. Now what we need to do is we need to re-add the bounce on our football layer. So to be able to exactly match the keyframes, I'm gonna go up over here and just press P on my keyboard. Okay, press P on your keyboard, press on the shape layer that you have. Okay, move over here and move over here. Boom, perfect. Now we know that over here this should go above, right? And then over here this should go below, this much. And I'm gonna copy paste the exact same graphs. So it's the middle graph and then the ending graph. So F9, the middle graph here, and then the ending graph here. Perfect. So now you can see the football will be the exact same bounce that we want it to be. And I'm just gonna delay it. Perfect. It's gonna start from here. There we go. Now why I did that, I'll tell you guys. Just so we can morph to our new layer. So the cool thing about this is all I need to do now is take this, do opacity, come up over here and make the opacity go away. Okay, just make this 0. So once it goes above, it's gonna be fine, but when it starts going down, the opacity goes down. That's exactly how I want it to be. So you can see now we can use this as a morph layer, this exact shape layer. So our football match and this whatever is gone, I can cut it, okay? And our football also, we wanna make it disappear. And how can we make it disappear? I'll show you guys exactly how. I'm gonna go into position, all right, and sync it exactly. Make this go above. At this point, this will go down, and then do the exact same graphs, or like at least be fast. Cool. So now you guys can see we have this whatever, and boom. Over here, the good thing about it is we're gonna have to decrease the scale of the box. So I'm gonna go to scale, and just once the bounce hits, it's gonna be scaled down to almost this size. You can see how much smaller it goes. That's gonna be seamless. So what we're gonna do is just make it in this way. We need to add the bounce expression as we mentioned. So go into the bounce expression over here. I'm just gonna decrease the amplitude to 0.2, the frequency to stay 2, no worries. And come up on the shape layer. There we go. But it doesn't feel smooth, almost like it's unsynced. So we're gonna have to sync it to the position fully. That means it's gonna happen in the center. There we go. So you guys can see now all of these go down, and this one, it doesn't really go down that much. And the position is gonna end here for it. So look at this. Now this is what basically morphing is called, right? Is how we can transform one layer from one scene to another scene. This is why we need morphing. Is we did all of this UI shit, but now how can we transform one layer from one scene to another scene? This is exactly what we just did, right? This is exactly what we just did. And now we can like start messing with things. Like we can start changing up the colors. So I'm gonna go into the fill for this rectangle, for example. All right, just keep expanding down. I don't know why there's 2 rectangles. That's a bit weird, but we just need 1. Go into fill, keyframe the color so that it smoothly gets saturated. This was the color, so gonna select, boom, there we go. Now see how the color is gonna change very smoothly. So now what we can do, guess what, we can bring up the PayPal logo. So this is what morphing is called, okay? And at this point of time, when everything is gone, we can just cut. Like I will cut the car layer, the gaming layer. We don't need it anymore. We need like a fresh new start to our layer, you know what I'm saying? Even when the ball is gone, we can cut the ball out. So the only thing that's remaining literally is the shape layer over here. And then I'm gonna literally just take the shape layer, take it above, make sure it's linked to nothing, and now it's a solo layer. Over here, now we wanna redesign the UI. Now I don't wanna spend too much time redesigning and just coming up with all of the shit. So we're gonna skip right to the part where it's completely designed. By the way, you guys are gonna find the ready-made design just in the drive folder. Just click on the design name, and you're gonna find the ready-made design instead of having to do it, alright? Okay, so pretty much this is what we are gonna import. It's gonna be something like this. Now, you do need to make a bit of adjustments to it. But first things first, what you need to do is take all of this, alright, and just link it to the shape layer. And then you wanna decrease the size of the shape layer a little bit, okay? And that is gonna be almost around over here. Just like a little bit, it's gonna decrease in size. Okay, you guys can see we have this PayPal send message, we have this. Alright, the UI looks pretty accurate, and then we have this little over here. So this, we have a blue line, and then there's a stop button, and then there's a gray line that you cannot see, but it's pretty much below it, and now we have this box. Okay, so how do we get about animating this? Alright, very, very, very simple. First things first that we want to animate is the PayPal logo can't just suddenly come up, right? So the PayPal logo, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the big P, okay, and we're gonna pattern the P fade to the big P, so that when we move the PayPal, the fade moves with it as well, alright? And then I'm gonna duplicate this fade and link the second fade to the small p, alright? That way, now we have two hand, each one of them can be moved, custom made. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this come out of the box. So from here, when the ball goes down, let's say this one is gonna come from outside, just like this, alright? And then the small b is gonna come from outside as well. But before that, we need to set their actual positions, alright, just so we don't lose it. Alright, now I'm gonna take this outside, and I'm gonna take this outside as well. I'm gonna set it this much. Now what we want to do is pretty much just have it come up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make this much closer, much closer. Select both of these and just do the expression that we had. Alright, by now you guys already have the expression, so I don't need to use that expression. I can just do it from here. Alright, just easier for me. And you can see how this comes up. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna delay the small p a little bit. Alright, that way it almost looks like this. Okay, now what we need to do is obviously we need to use this as a matte layer. So I'm gonna take all of this and just track matte it to the shape layer, but making sure that the shape layer is showing. That way this comes fading in this manner. You can see, perfect. So the ball goes out and the PayPal logo comes in. We just did a very nice looking animation. Now we have this. For this, what we're gonna do is we need to use something called, I mean, you're gonna probably have to do this manually, alright, but I have something called text exploder, and I can explode the text into multiple layers. So I'm gonna select this and make it into words, delete the original, alright. That way, every single line is by itself. So send, money, pay, and whatever, we're not gonna make each one of them custom. Or both of these are gonna be linked to send, but this and this is gonna be individual. So we're gonna select peak, okay? Go 5 frames ahead as we know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. By now we should already know that's all 5 frames. And bring it up from above, just like this. Bring it up from above. And we're gonna do an opacity, literally very quickly from 0 to 100 in a matter of seconds. Okay, and the opacity is gonna be for all of them, even manage and pay. Now I'm gonna select all of the positions and I'll just do a smart bounce on them. Now see what happened is we have all of this. Now the only thing is you wanna go select P and just sync this. Alright, so first things first that's gonna come is obviously PayPal, and then 1, 2 frames later this is gonna come, and then 1, 2 frames later this is gonna come. And these are just gonna be synced. So you can see how this is. We can make the position even faster. I feel like the position is a bit slow. So I'll select all of this. Just press P on my keyboard so I can pop it out. Press P and make it much faster in this way. Cool. And I will just decrease the amplitude because the amplitude is too high. So 30. There we go. So now you guys can see how this is coming up. Looks perfect to me. And we are gonna do the exact same thing. Position 1, 2, 3. You know, bring this up from above. Take the opacity keyframes, just paste this shit. Add the smart bounce and make the altitude 30. And I'm just gonna push all of this. And now see how it comes up. The position for this one has to be a bit harsher though. There we go. So now you guys can see how this is morphing very, very well. Okay, this is why we use bounces, because bounces makes everything looks connected. In this manner, you guys can see how this ball goes down, and then we have the PayPal coming up, and it looks extremely smooth. Now we want to do the exact same shit for this one. Okay, so this one is also going to be very similar. We're just going to link the blue line and the gray line to the box. Okay, and we're going to have the box itself. I'm going to take the position for the stop and the box. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames ahead. Alright, come up above. Make the position higher over here, and this one also above in this manner. So you guys can see. And I'm gonna do the smart bounce on the. As for the opacity, we're gonna do the same thing, but it's gonna be a bit slower with the opacity, so it feels like it's actually coming up. But yeah, now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna have to delay the box a little bit so that they don't look exactly synced in this manner. The last part that we have for like the boxes over here is we're gonna take the blue line, alright, and we're gonna go into something called trim path, and just trim path it from almost over here, the ending, and then over here it's gonna go to be around 100, but don't make it 100 exact, but it's gonna start from 0. So this is how it's gonna be. So the second it reaches to the end, okay, over here we want to do another morph. Okay, the second it reaches to the end, or almost to the end, so we want to expand this out a little bit. At this point of time, I want to take this box, okay, and I want to do two things. First thing, I want to keyframe size, and I want to keyframe roundness. These two things. Now I'm gonna press U. It's gonna pop these both out, and I want to go around 10 frames ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And over here, we want to unlink it and just expand this out. And I want to decrease the roundness just very little bit, not too much. But you can see the roundness is too much, so I want to decrease it like a little bit, just like this. And expand this out a little bit. Or actually, the roundness is going to stay the same, so we don't need to keyframe roundness. The only thing that will keyframe is size. So this is another part of morphing. Alright. Over here, the size is gonna be this graph. It's gonna come up like this. And the second the graph starts happening, alright, as you guys can see, we just wanna decrease or take the opacity down for everything over here completely to 0. So I'm gonna add another keyframe and just make it go 0. So, and then we're gonna graph this to be fast in the beginning. So see how it goes. This comes up and then boom. But this is gonna be smooth, right? It's gonna be a bit slower. Boom. At this point, we just wanna bring out our text which says open. So I'm gonna write open, and the color is gonna be iPhone blue, which is this color. And we just wanna have this in the middle of the box. So the box is anchor point around this part. That means I'm gonna move this, scale it up a little bit. And now I have the open button. The open button is gonna be middle, okay, and boom. Here we have it, guys. The second this opacity goes down, as you guys can see over here, the open is gonna flip, like it's gonna go from 0 to 100 at this point of time, and we're gonna do the front graph. There we go, but I'm just gonna delay it a little bit, or even more. There we go. Perfect. So let's have a little preview. So you guys see like how we did this whole morphing stuff, like how it goes from this scene to this scene. This is pretty much what UI is all about, right? Is how you can transform from one scene to another. This looks pretty solid in terms of the results and how we made it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have watched everything and you literally came until this part and you're still watching, I appreciate you a lot. And for that, if you message me on Instagram, I'll make your second month in my school community for free. Just message me, tell me you watched my most recent video until the end, and you'll get it. But yeah, with that being said, if you guys want to join Editors League, join a like-minded community of 160 plus people, get the project files, get videos even more in-depth than what I made right now, interviews with top editors, know how to edit like all of these styles, and a lot more, then make sure you click on the first link in the description, and I'll see you guys on the inside. Peace out.